I like the question that's been posed and asked about to explain what this governance structure is. I think it's crucially important to understand that the governance structure refers to the framework that defines authority, framework that defines decision making, the framework that defines responsibility or accountability and power within any given organization. I think several times there's poor governance in institutions, in organizations. When we refer about organizations and institutions, we not only refer to the private sector or public sector. There's organizations in our families, organization, church politics, organization, NGOs organization. I think it's crucial importance to have an antidote regarding the issue about poor governance structures. We have to address this abbreviation of other. I call it other. What is other? Other has to do with if you understand the link why we have poor governance and poor governance structures in any given organization. It is in the root cause of it lies either with authority or decision making, or it lies with accountability. I think it's crucially important to understand, what does authority mean? Authority has to do with the power or the right to give orders, to make decisions, or enforce obedience, enforce laws and regulations or policies within that given organization. Sometimes the problem is like you might find that there's no maturity in how to handle the given authority, because when the authority comes accountability. I think that's why I'm saying abbreviation about governance structure. We have to understand it with abbreviation of other, which means has to do with authority. It also has to do with the decision making. Decision making, any person in a position of authority, they have to make decisions, and the question is like, is the decisions prudent enough? Because decision making has to do with the act or the process of making an important decision. You might find sometimes people are not making prudent decisions because they haven't applied their mind to say what is the consequences about the decision they make, and what's the consequence of that decision to the future. Sometimes you find people are more reactive because they haven't analyzed the risk towards the decision they take. And the last part, we find many times in poor government structures that the leaders are not willing to take accountability for their decisions, who are put in position of authority for the given organization that they got. For accountability has to do with the condition of being accountable, responsible. You find when days are good, when the organization is performing, leaders are self-centered to take glory to themselves and not to share it with other structures or in organization. But when things goes wrong, you find especially in government institutions, that people tend to blame the responsibility downwards to the manager or the employees without being accountable for the decisions. That happens a lot in boards as well in executive management. So I'm trying to say it's crucially important to understand when we speak about governance structure, it is the framework that defines authority. It is the framework that defines other, which means that the framework defines decision making as well as accountability. While successful achieving organizations have a sound modern framework of implementation about a governance structure that has to do with authority, has to do with decision making and accountability. I think I hope it makes sense regarding to it. I hope I've answered the question. And the absence of not understanding the governance structure, it leads to poor governance, and the result of it is poor decision making, and it can lead to the failure or maladministration of the organization. I hope it makes sense. Thank you very much.